Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil 'aliyyil 'azim. Amma ba'du. Uh, Alhamdulillah, we meet again tonight to continue our discussion in Islamic wealth management. So for this week, we are discussing about gift, which translated into Arabic as Hibah. So what is Hibah or gift? Gift or Hibah? What it is about? So basically, Hibah is a contract that transfer one asset ownership, which is the donor, during his lifetime to another, without any exchange, with immediate effect, and without consideration to another person who accept it. The last phrase, it is definitions added by Hanafi school, but the remain is definition stated by majority of Muslim scholar. But Hanafi scholar added the last phrase in these definitions. So we will look into this definition one by one. So if we highlight the definitions, then we can see what's mean during his lifetime. So the phrase during his lifetime is to differentiate hibah from the bequest, which is wasiyah, and the inheritance, which is faraid. We have discussed wasiyah and faraid before. So during his lifetime, this is what differentiate hibah from the bequest, which is carried out after someone's death. Also, inheritance is about the transaction that be executed after death. But in hibah, it is executed during a lifetime. So that is a difference between hibah and wasiyat and also faraid. So the second phrase, without any exchange. So hibah differentiate hibah from trading. So in the trading, it is include take, give, and take. So there is two parties. Someone give somebody and someone take something. Okay, but in hibah, something given without exchange in return. Okay, that's a hibah, a gift. So we also need to highlight the phrase with immediate effect. That is differentiate hibah from bequest. That we know that wasiyah or bequest, the wording come out from someone's mouth in his lifetime, but the transaction executed after his death. So, but hibah, the wording come out in a lifetime and executed also in the lifetime period. So this meaning differentiate hibah from bequest. And also the fourth phrase, which is added by Hanafi school, without consideration to another person who accept it. So this additional phrase is to differentiate hibah from trading, which need consent from both parties. In trading, we need consent from the buyer and the seller. But in hibah, from the view of Hanafi school, this come from one person only. So the another person have not to do something, not doing something. Okay, that is what is to differentiate hibah from other transaction in Islamic finance. Okay, then second thing, hibah is a general term contained therein present hadiah and also and alms, which is sadaqah. So hibah is a general term. So including in the hibah is present, a present hadiah. We call it in Malaysia, in Melayu, hadiah, and also the alm, which is sadaqah. So sadaqah means giving with the intention of getting closer to Allah the Almighty by giving something to the needy. So which basically sadaqah, we give something for to who are in need, and we and our intention to get benefit, to get the Jannah, to get closer to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the Almighty, the God Almighty. But hadiah is something that we give to somebody with the intention to glorifying, with intention to loving somebody, with intention to respecting somebody. So, what is different between sadaqah and hadiah is the inside, the inside, which is the intention. That is what differentiate between sadaqah and hadiah. But both terms, sadaqah and hadiah, are contained in the hadiah term, hibah term. So when we said about hibah, so it includes sadaqah and also hadiah. Okay. So hadiah is part of hibah. Sadaqah also part of the hibah, right? But sadaqah and hadiah, there is a bit different between both. So hibah is prescribed in Islam, as Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the Almighty, said in the Quran. فَإِن طِبْنَ لَكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ مِّنْهُ نَفْسًا فَكُلُوهُ هَنِيئًا مَرِيئًا. But if they willingly forego some of it, then consume it with enjoyment and pleasure. Nisa verse 4. So hibah was mentioned in the Al-Quran. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said in his saying, exchange gift among yourself, surely you will love each other. Tahadu, tahabu. Prophet said, and exchange gift. If you want to increase your loving each one another, so you must practicing to give present to somebody else. That is will increase your each other loving. So narrated by Al-Bukhari. So the law of hibah. So hibah is preferred. In the Arabic, we said it's mustahab. Disukai, preferred to be given first. First thing is to be given to family members, and then the nearest and the nearest. As why? As it strengthened the bond between family members. So we must prefer our family members, and then after we finish on that level, so we can broaden our gift to outside member from our family members. So then we can strengthen our bond between our family members. That is the aim, the goal of giving a present to family members, to strengthen the bond between the family. And also Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man ahabba an yabsata lahu fi rizqihi wa yunsha'a lahu fi atharihi falyasim rahimah." Tafaqun alayh. Prophet said, he who desire ample sustenance and his life be prolonged should maintain good ties with his blood relation, narrated by Al-Bukhari. So those people want to make an ample sustenance and want to live longer. So they should preserve their relation between family members. So when we are giving something as a hibah, so the hibah transaction is considered completed. It's completed by offering, which means al ijab, offering. Then accepted, which means qabul, ijab wal qabul, and we completed the hibah by delivering the present to the doni, delivering the present to the doni, which is al-qabad. We call it al-qabad. So in hibah transaction, they must be carried out with these three things: the offering, the acceptance, and the delivery. An offer, like someone said, "I give this house to you." So that is the offer, and then the doni return the offer by acceptance, by accepting that offer. For example, he said, "I accept your present," for example, or "I accept the house." So that is the offer and the acceptance. And there is the last thing need to be done is to deliver the house to the doni. So when there is the offer, there is also the acceptance and the delivery also there. So the hibah is completed. Is completed. We said it. Aqdul lazim. Everything was completed at the moment. That is from the majority school. But from Hanafi school, Hanafi school of thoughts, they said that hibah completed by offering, just by offer something to somebody, so the hibah was completed. So there is no need for acceptance from doni. There no need for the delivery, the gift to the doni. No need to. Just somebody offering something to the doni, then it is considered al-aqdul lazim, legal transaction. We can call it a legal transaction. Right? So we must understand that there is majority Hanafi thought and also the majority scholar thought in this case of hibah. So then the pillars of hibah. So must be in the hibah, there must be a donor and must be a doni, the gift, the present, and the wording, which means the sirah, the sirah. Okay. So we go into donor first. So donor, in order to carry out a hibah, he or she must have full ownership of the gift. If you want to give a house to somebody, so he must have the full ownership of the house. Then he can give it to somebody else. If he only have the usafra, he only own the benefit of a house, then he cannot execute that hibah, because he not owns the property, he not own the gift. So the donor must have full ownership of a gift before can do hibah to somebody else. And also the donor must have sane mind, which is he is not crazy, and he has reached a, a eligible age to execute hibah, because we afraid if children uh, can proceed with hibah, then he would give his property to other person without thinking about the consequences after that. So he must have a sane mind first, which is he not crazy. He's a normal person. His mind working perfectly, and he also has reached a certain level of age that we can consider he can execute hibah by himself without having bad negative consequences from the hibah, which can harm himself from that hibah. So he must have full ownership of the gift and also have a sane mind. So on the doni part, so the doni part can be a natural person. Natural person means that a human being. That's a natural person. Or also, he also can be a legal person, which is individual or company. What is the meaning of legal person? A person that can be responsible under law. Under certain law, he can be responsible. He can be punished if he do mistake, he do wrong, he can be punished by law. Well, that's mean legal person. Right? And then directly received by trustee or representative. So the donee, he can receive the gift by himself, or he can acquire a trustee to receive the gift, to receive the gift uh, as a representative for himself. Okay. And also the donee can be Muslim or non-Muslim. When we talking about wasiyah, bequest, so wasiyah must be in the same religion. Muslim is Muslim. Muslim also only can bequeath to Muslim. So the non-Muslim cannot bequeath each other, right? So in hibah, we follow as same as wasiyah. Wasiyah can be executed between different religion. Also in hibah, also can be executed between different religion. So no problem about religion. Only the religion only take place on faraid topic only, right? So that's you need to very careful bear in your mind. The different the importance of religion in Islamic transaction is only considered in faraid only. In other transaction, religion is not counted. Then donee also can be ayah of the donor or others of others, which mean the donor can give present to his son, to his daughter, and also a son can give present to his father. So there is no restriction on the blood relation. So the donee can be sane mind or insane. It can be insane mind or insane. The crazy people can receive a gift. Children also can receive a gift. Why? Why children and crazy cannot be a donor, but they can be a donee? Because donor, the act of donor could harm himself, could harm uh, his property without realizing that Hibah might be a mistake. But from the donee side, they are receiving something. So they not by receiving a present, they not harm themselves by receiving a gift from somebody else. So that's why some scholars said sin is a term condition for the donor, but not condition for the donee. The third condition is the third pillar is the gift, the present. So the present must be fully owned by the donor, which means it must be uh, physically owned. The asset must be physically owned, not beneficial owned, which always we call it usafra. Usafra, the benefits. Usafra is the benefit. It so if you want to give something, the gift must be an asset. It cannot be a benefit. If we give benefit, what does it mean? But giving benefit is borrowing. Like we borrow our car to somebody else. We borrow our pen to our friend. So he taking benefit of the car, taking benefit of the pen. So in Hibah, it must be an asset and property. It cannot be carried out by giving usafra, or by giving benefit cannot be considered as a Hibah. It is a borrowing. So, and also the gift must exist at the time of Hibah. We cannot give something that not exist yet. For example, I will give you fruit on the tree, fruit on the tree, which not coming out from the tree yet. Or I will give you calf in the fetus, calf in the fetus of a cow, because the gift is not there yet, so it cannot be gifted to somebody else. So the principle is very simple. The principle is very simple. Anything or everything that can be traded then can be gifted. Fetus in mother's cow cannot be traded because it's not there yet. So the cow must give birth to that fetus in order to the calf to exist. In order to calf exist. So when there is no calf, so no Hibah, no trading. Right? So you must remember the principle, very simple. Everything that can be traded can be gifted. Everything that cannot be traded, then it cannot be gifted. That is very simple and important principle that you have to remember in mastering Hibah topic. Okay. Future. How about the future? Future assets. Future asset. The unexist asset. We know that it cannot be gifted. But how about future asset? The possible future asset. For example, if you put your money in saving account, then when the account reach maturity, then you will have another surplus from the principal that you saving in that account. So the surplus, which is the benefit, the what you want to call it, the profit, the surplus is the profit of saving. Okay, so if some Islamic banking, if you put your money in that saving account, so at the end after the maturity period, so you will get profit. So the profit written as hibah by bank. All right, but the transaction was made before when you sign up to open the bank. So the bank promised that whatever amount you saving in this account, we will promise you, we will give you benefits, we will give you a hibah based on our profit. If we get more profit, then we will give more hibah to you. If we do not get any profit, then there is no hibah. Right? So the agreement was done before, long before that. Okay, so the existence of profit, the existence of hibah is unknown. Okay, if the bank runs smoothly, generate some profit, so he will give hibah. But in the condition of hibah, we know that the gift, the hibah must be must be present at the time of the transaction, at the time of the sirah, the wording of hibah, the wording of the gift. So how can you, so for example, how can you give something that you don't have? So I will, example, you said I will give you the car, this car, next year after I buy it this year, right? So you promise something that it's not promise. You said that you give the car that you will buy, but you already said I give you the car that I will buy. How can you give something that you have not owned yet? So it must be exist at the moment in order to execute hibah correctly. Okay, so this is your homework. I need you to study. And how can a bank proceed with hibah which is not in line with Islamic principle? We have said the principle is easy. What can be traded can be gifted. To trade something, it must be exist first. Then you can trade it. You cannot trade what is non-exist. You cannot trade something non-exist. You cannot trade something is unknown in the future. The principle is very simple, but the hibah has been using in Islamic banking to provide a portion of benefit to savers who are open saving account, instant bank. Also, we can also found we also can find Hibah transaction in other other models, Islamic finance models, such as in ITAB, hire purchase, in the hire purchase transaction. Okay, uh, at 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 the end of a payment, a monthly payment, at the end of payment, so after buyer completed the payment, so the bank will give the car to buyer as a hibah. The bank will give the car to buyer as a hibah. But in that case, the gift are at risk. But in this, in in I mean, in the saving account case is the profit is not there yet. The profit is something future, happen in the future, but it's already the transaction has been made in order to give the savers some amount of hibah. So this is also quite different from the hire purchase case. So I need you to do this, study this homework. How Islamic banking allow giving hibah to the savers, despite it is not in line with the pillar of hibah. So I need you to study that. Okay. And the last pillar is the wording, which means the sirah. Okay, about the wording about sirah. So as I said before, Jumhur, majority of Islamic scholars said that the hibah completed by offer, acceptance, and acceptance in event, and also by delivery. But in Hanafi thought, Hatimi school of thought said only offering that can complete the hibah process. And completed by delivery of the gift. If not, then withdrawal of the hibah is permissible. That is important for delivery the present. If the delivery is not be carried out, then donor can withdraw, give the hibah. Donor can withdraw the hibah, can take it back from donee, what he has give before. So it is important in the sirah, which is wording, the offer, the acceptance, and also the delivery. So must be these three items must include in the wording, which means a sirah. Okay, and the last slide is about irrevocable hibah asset, the withdrawal of hibah asset. Okay. So hibah asset or hibah can be withdrawn. Uh, uh, how I going to say it? In the majority Muslim scholar, so hibah cannot be withdrawn except gift from parent to his children. This one only can be withdrawal from Hibah. The rest cannot. It is uh, the majority of Muslim scholar. But in the Hanafi thought, Hibah can cannot be withdraw if the donee is closely related by consanguinity or spouse. But in Hanafi thought, Hibah can be withdrawn. So I need to correct my phrase. In majority thoughts, Hibah cannot be withdrawn except a gift from parent to children. That is the only case that Hibah can be withdrawn. The rest cannot. But in Hanafi thoughts, aside from gift, in Hanafi thought that Hibah can be withdrawn. So there is a big difference. Majority thought Hibah cannot be withdrawn except the gift from father to children. But in Hanafi, Hibah can be withdrawn. You can give something to somebody and you can take it back. That is from the Hanafi thought. You can take it back. Except, apart from the gift of the parent to the children, the withdrawal also cannot be done if the donee is closely related by consanguinity or spouse. If you give something to your wife, you cannot take it back. Okay, if you give something to your niece, you cannot take it back because you have a blood relation. Okay. Also, after donors or donee death, if you have give something to other person, if you have, for example, if you give a car to your friend, then he dies or you die. So which one die? Then the Hibah cannot be withdrawn. And also, if the gift is lost or destroyed or given away by others, also cannot be withdrawn from the Hanafi thoughts. If you give somebody a car, then the car broken or the car destroyed, or the donee has sold the car to other person, so Hibah cannot be withdrawn. And the donor has accepted the iwat from the donee. For example, you said to your friend, I give you this car, but in return, you must give your motorcycle to me. Okay, that is a Hibah followed by a return. Okay, so if you give something and you take something in return, then that Hibah also cannot be withdrawn. Basically, that is actually not a Hibah. That is a trading, because you give something, you take something. Al-Hibah bil wa'ad. Al-Hibah bil wa'ad. Hibah followed by a promise. If you give me that, I will give you that. We can, in term, we can call it a Hibah, but in the essence, it is actually a trading, not Hibah. But in Hanafi, it's called still called Hibah. Also, you cannot withdraw. Hibah is you give something. Religiously motivated hibah, such as sadaqah. If you give something with intention to give sadaqah, to do a good deed, you give something as a good deed, which means sadaqah, to give something to the needy, so you cannot withdraw from the hibah because you give it as a charity. So that is different between hibah between majority of Islam thought and also Hanafi thoughts. You must differentiate the majority thoughts and the Hanafi thought. The majority in majority thoughts, the hibah cannot be withdrawal, but in the Hanafi thoughts, it can be withdraw with condition that I have said before. So that's all for today's class. So remember, I need you to do some homework about give. How it is possible to bank giving? How it is possible to a bank give a hibah, a future hibah? As we know that if everything that can be traded, that can be gifted. Everything that cannot be traded cannot be gifted. You cannot trade something that is not exit. But in this case, what I mean is, bank gives something that is bank gives something that not exit yet. If he make profit, he will provide some hibah to you. If he not make a profit, so you will get nothing from your saving. So how it is possible? I leave it to you to search the answer, and we will discuss the answer in the following weeks, inshallah. So I wish you with the good health, and may we meet again in the following class, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.